What I want to tell you first before I start off is that we are going to be covering 100 idioms, okay, jisko Hindi mein hum muhavre bolte hain, in the span of just 100 minutes. Essentially, how we will go is that every lesson I will cover 10 idioms and I will explain you their meanings. I will use a sentence using those idioms so it's easier for you to understand them. And I will also have a pretty picture to explain this better to you. My main purpose with this collection, guys, is that these idioms should now be drilled in your head so that कल को कोई अगर ये expression use करे तो आपको लगना नहीं चाहिए कि अरे ये क्या बोल रहा है. You have to make sure that you not only remember them but also use them. As usual, I will be giving you a small exercise or a tip at the end of my lesson, and please make sure you follow it. I hope you enjoy this collection. I'm going to start off with the first idiom that says once in a blue moon. Now, literally what this means is that every month we have one full moon, right? So there are some, it's actually this phenomenon where, after every 2-3 years or so, we have 13 full moons, okay? So that full moon, it's called a blue moon, literally. So kabhi agar aap sky pe dekho aur aapko blue color ka moon dekhe, that does not mean that the moon is blue, okay? It's obviously happening because of the different, the reflection and refraction of light that happens. I mean, for science students, I'm sure they would know that. So once in a blue moon, because wo itne saalon mein ek baar hi aata hai, that's why the expression, it means something that happens very, very rarely. So, for instance, we'll say once in a blue moon day, I get to spend time with my family. Like, especially for me, if I'm staying away from my family, I get to visit my hometown Jammu just once in a blue moon. It happens very rarely. That's what the expression means. Next is beating around the bush. Now, I'll tell you a small story for this. So, earlier in UK, when they used to go hunting or whatever, one person's job used to be to beat the bush so that jo bush ke andar birds chupi hui hain, wo ud ke bahar aa jaye, and the other person who's the hunter can shoot them down. So, our actual task is hunting, but the person is literally beating the bush, which is not doing the actual task. So, literally, this means that you're avoiding the important thing, or you're not coming to the point, or you're avoiding the topic. Like, you're just beating around the bush. And what an apt example here. The politician was beating around the bush when citizens demanded a reason for the scam. They're like, "Arey, wo humne ye kiya tha, wo kiya tha." But if you're not coming straight to the point, means that you're beating around the bush. Another word for this is to prevaricate. It's a new word. You can learn it if you wish to. The spelling is Prevaricate. So beating around the bush also means to prevaricate, to dilly-dally, to not come to the point. The next idiom is chip on your shoulder. This literally does not mean that you have microchip or uncle chips or something on your shoulder. Chip on your shoulder means that you're one of those, who feels that I'm upset with the world because the world treats me unfairly. Dunya mere se unfair treatment karti hai. And maybe sometimes this can also be because you are underconfident or because you have some sort of, these feelings of self-deprecation. Yeah, you feel ki I'm not good enough. I think all of us, we go through these phases. So, that's why you are somebody who gets upset. Yeah, jo, matlab, पुरानी बातें याद रखता है और उसकी वजह से दूसरों के साथ गंदा बिहेवियर करता है. So literally like a chip on your shoulder is when you're upset about something that happened really long ago, तो तुम अभी तक वो अपने साथ रख रहे हो. You're not letting go of it. So the sentence that we've used here is that he has a chip on his shoulder for being abandoned by his friends in school days. तो school days में उन्होंने कभी कुछ किया होगा, अभी तक उनसे नाराज हो. So don't have a chip on your shoulder. Okay. Next one is cry over spilt milk. Spilt milk. It can't get clearer than this, It means that you're complaining about a loss or failure from the past. So the sentence that we've used here is that there is no use of crying over spilt milk. Instead, you should be cautious in future. For instance, you were traveling in the metro and you had kept your wallet in your back pocket and somebody stole it. Okay, and then you come back home and you cry to your mom that, "Oh, mama, somebody stole my wallet." And then she'll be like, "It's okay, beta, no point crying over spilt milk. Now you make sure that you're more careful in future." So this is what it means. I don't know why I have used that picture there. Next is piece of cake. Piece of cake, guys, again, this is as simple as it gets. Now, how difficult is it for you to eat a piece of cake? Not difficult at all. In fact, if you're on the diet, then it's difficult for you to control. But yeah, a piece of cake means that something that is very easy to do or something that's very easy to understand. So let's say for a batsman like Yuvraj Singh, hitting sixes is like a piece of cake, Let's avoid the sentence that we've used here, music is my piece of cake. We don't use sentences like, this is my piece of cake or whatever. When you want to use piece of cake in a sentence, you should use it with like, okay? For example, like I mentioned, for Yuvraj Singh, hitting sixes is like a piece of cake, or for Sachin, hitting a century is like a piece of cake, or I don't know, you can think and make some sentences on your own, but I think the kind of usage that we have given here, music is my piece of cake, don't say that English is not my piece of cake, don't use it like that. Next is blessing in disguise. Let's break this down. Blessing, of course, you know what it means, dua. Disguise means छुपा हुआ, okay? Something that is hidden or something that's in a different form. So, हमारे लिए एक तरह से ये चीज़ दुआ बनकर आई, या आप हमारे लिए भगवान का रूप बन के आए, something like that. What you say in Hindi, this is what it literally translates to in English. So something that's good and useful, but initially you thought that, it might not be the right way. For instance, the course that I chose was a blessing in disguise, and I realized that only now. So for instance, let's say you got selected in IIT and you got electrical engineering, whereas you wanted computer science or computer engineering. So you are very skeptical initially that मैं electrical पढूं या नहीं पढूं, but eventually you start studying it and you really like it and you get a very nice job. So you say that getting selected for electrical engineering was like a blessing in disguise for me. That's how you would use it. Next one is come hell or high water, okay, which can also translate into no matter what, ये तो हम करके ही दिखाएंगे. अब चाहे hell आ जाए या high water आ जाए. So no matter what happens, the fact that you're not going to stop and you're going to make sure that you do this is what this means. So a usage like look at the picture also here. So no matter how bad this climb is, this man's going to do that. So I've decided that come hell or high water, I will finish this task. For instance, if I have to make this lesson, I'm like, whether I fall sick or whether there is no light in my house, whatever the problem may be, I'm going to make sure I finish this. So come hell or high water. So instead of saying all of these things, I could have just said, come hell or high water, I'm going to do this. Next is taste of your own medicine. Again, with this we have a very interesting story. So I'm sure you all have heard of Aesop's fables. Aesop, was there were these collection of stories that were shared by Aesop, who was a storyteller who was believed to have lived in ancient Greece. This is 620 BC ke time pe, and his tales are really famous. Even if you Google it, AESOP, Aesop's fables. So it was one of these Aesop's fables that is the origin of this phrase. So what had happened was that there was a story where a swindler, he tries to sell fake medicine and he claims that medicine can cure anything. So when he eventually falls sick, then people make him have his own medicine, which he knows it's not going to work. So then that swindler in that ancient Greek story, he ends up having his own medicine. That is how this phrase came about. So when someone receives the same treatment, usually negative, that they end up giving to others, So bad people will surely have a taste of their own medicine. So like, let's say your boss is firing you or like is being very rude to you, but when your boss's super boss scolds your boss, then you're like, oh, my boss had a taste of his own medicine, that sort of a thing. Golden handshake is not literally like a handshake that you do, but what happens is that when a large sum of money is given to a person when they're leaving a company, or when they're retiring, so you give them, like that sort of severance bonus sort of a thing. So it's better to offer a golden handshake to the aged employees. Or also sometimes, when the company is shutting down, so then you end up giving them a large amount, like let's say 2-3 mahine ki salary ek saath de di. So we say, you've given that in the form of a golden handshake. The last one that we have here is mean business. Now, mean does not mean mean or rude, for instance, it means that he or she really means business. Matlab, they're dead serious about what they want to do. So let's say when the new girl came in class and she was attending all the lectures seriously, we knew that she means business, that she wants to top the university. Or in this case, the example that we've used, the border is surrounded by forces who really mean business. So this means that, they make sure that they're really, really dedicated with their work and they're not going to waver. So my test for this is going to be that choose 2 of your favorite idioms from this and use them in a sentence, I will look forward to your comments. Thank you so much for watching this. In my next lesson, we will be covering 10 new idioms. I hope you're liking it. Thank you. Words like flower of this purple dye, hit with Cupid's archery, sink in apple of his eye. If you want, you can look it up. I don't know if you're interested in literature or not, but apple of one's eye literally means that you're cherished more than the others are. So my mother is always an apple of my family's eye. That's so sweet, right? All mothers should be like that. Okay, next phrase is the best of both the worlds. Okay, literally in Hindi, this translates to dono haathon mein laddu hona. Like you want the best of both the worlds. Yahan ka bhi best chahiye, wahan ka bhi best chahiye. So the benefits of 2 widely differing situations that you enjoy at the same time. So I had the best of both the worlds when I worked as an ordinary member of a team, but I got to learn from the leaders. So, where, let's say, if you're working in a very, very big corporate house, but you're working in a small team, so you will not have a lot of work pressure on you also, but you end up getting such a nice brand name also. So this way you're getting the best of both the worlds. Third is feeling a bit under weather. So, or you can simply say feeling under the weather. This phrase means that you're feeling a little ill. The sentence that we've used is I'm not going to the gym today as I'm feeling a little under the weather. So for all of you who are trying to lose weight, when you say this to your gym instructor that, oh, I can't come today, I'm feeling under the weather, most probably they'll think that you're making an excuse. But if you're generally not feeling well, then yeah, you can use this. Let's say you're cancelling on a meeting saying that, hey, I can't come for this meeting, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. So try and use this phrase, guys, because it's very commonly used and So yeah, sorry, this got paused. So yeah, you should try and use this phrase. And the origin of the phrase is such where in olden days, the sailors who used to go off to sea, when they used to feel sick, then they used to be sent under the deck. There used to be this area where they used to go below the deck so that, they can get out of that weather. So the term that we use today is actually a shortened form of the original idiom that was under the weather bow. So this was the side of the ship, from where the bad weather used to come. So simply being under the weather means aap bimar ho, you're not feeling well. icing on the cake. Now, as it is, a cake is amazing, it's sweet and everything. Icing on the cake means आप उसके ऊपर और भी decorate करने के लिए cream लगाते हो, gems लगाते हो, chocolate pieces लगाते हो. So that, like, a cake already is so amazing, but you're doing so much more. So the meaning becomes clear that something that is already good, it becomes something even great. So, the sentence I'm sure will make it clear. I got MS in the university that I wish to, and also a scholarship was like an icing on the cake. So, सोने पे सुहागा होना, literally, that is what it means. Next one is jump the bandwagon. So jump a bandwagon means to join a popular activity or a trend. Okay, look at the sentence here. When I put on a few pounds, I quickly jumped on the bandwagon and joined the gym. So this would mean that उस time पे gym join करना एक trend होता था, तो ठीक है हमने भी gym join कर लिया. But let's say today almost every second person wants to have his or her own startup. So they are joining the startup bandwagon. That is how you can say. So they also jumped the bandwagon, sort of a thing. So like in Bollywood, in Mumbai, everyone wants to hop onto the Bollywood bandwagon, or they also jumped on this bandwagon of Bollywood. That's how we would use it. जो भी कुछ trend है वो सब follow कर रहे हैं. Okay, the next phrase is cost an arm and a leg. Just imagine if somebody asks you कि hi, तो मुझे अपना एक हाथ और एक पैर दे सकते हो. Like that is like losing half your body. Why would you want to do that? So literally you don't have to do that. But yeah, it just means that if something ends up being really expensive, जो ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा महंगी पड़ गई, या हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि अरे वहाँ जाना आपको बहुत महंगा पड़ गया. So this is what it means in English, that my laziness cost me an arm and a leg every time. That, oh, I ended up being late for an interview and I did not get such a great job. So yeah, my laziness ended up costing me an arm and a leg. मेरे को बहुत महंगी पड़ गई, That is how you use it. Okay, ball is in your court. Literally, I mean, the meaning cannot be clearer. So when it is up to you to make the next decision or step. So for instance, if you're playing tennis, when the ball comes in your court, you have to hit it. So ball is in your court as an expression or an idiom means that now it's time for you to take the action. Let's say there are multiple parties involved, and now the time is for you to really take some actionable step on it. So look at the sentence. Now that the ball is in my court, I will take revenge on him. Now, I hope that you do not take revenge and you're not somebody who's full of vengeance. And guys, there was a similar word that I had taught in one of my previous lessons, which said that the person is full of vengeance. What was that word? If you can remember, please type it, okay, in the comments. So try and use the sentence in your own way and make sure that you don't use a word like revenge. Give me a nice, fresh, exciting sentence. Bite of more than you can chew. Now, let's say you take a very big bite of a burger, and obviously you're not being able to chew it because there's so much food in your mouth. So obviously this just means that you end up taking a task which you may not be able to accomplish fully due to the lack of ability. So ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा मतलब अपना वो नहीं करना चाहिए. अपने I think maybe in Hindi, how you use ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा अपने पैर नहीं फैलाने चाहिए, or something like that. So literally this is what it translates into, that take whatever you can complete. Okay, don't try to take more work on your shoulders, which later you might not be able to finish. So look at the sentence here. I bite off more than I could chew when I decided to take up this research project. So for me, let's say I'm working with Femina and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So maybe I thought that I really did bite off more than I could chew when I took up this assignment with a publishing house. So try to make sure that you finish the tasks that you take up. Can't judge a book by its cover. I'm sure many of you already know this phrase. So this means that you cannot judge something mainly on the basis of its superficial appearance. या जो ऊपर से दिखता है, असली में वो वैसे नहीं हो सकते हैं. So it's wise not to judge a book by its cover. Let's say there is a new person in your office who comes in and who's being very rude and who's not talking much to you. So you're like, oh my God, this person is so rude. But actually, maybe that person might just be very shy or very afraid to speak to new people. So you should not judge a book by its cover. So on the surface, अगर आपको लगता है कि वो rude है, किसी से बात नहीं कर रहा है, तो आपको already don't jump to conclusions and don't think that he or she is rude. Okay. The last one here is hear it on grapevine. Now, this literally means that when you hear rumors about something or someone, जैसे hearsay या हमने किसी से सुना कि एक उड़ती चिड़िया मुझे ये बता गई कि ऐसे ऐसे हो रहा है. Especially, when we cover Bollywood and then they say, oh, we heard it on the grapevine that this actor is dating that actor. So, this is how you use the term. So, look at this sentence here also. I heard it on the grapevine that he has cheated the organization. So, look at the picture. I think it's quite apt where one girl is telling the other girl that, hey, listen, did you hear? Did you hear that he aise ho gaya? So, actually, it just means that when this is you gossiping about something, you say हमने XYZ से सुना है कि ये ऐसे ऐसे है. So instead of saying that, you can just say, oh, I heard it on the grapevine that you're quitting this job and you're taking up a job with Facebook. So that is how you can try and use the sentence. So we still have a minute and a half left, and I have finished the 10 idioms for this collection. So let me know, guys, give me your feedback if you're enjoying the lessons, if you are actually understanding what these idioms are. Now, by the end of this lesson, you have learned 20 new phrases, 20 new idioms. Try and use them in the sentence. The task that I had given you for the last time, just go ahead, write those sentences for me. For this lesson, I spoke to you about my first idiom, that was apple of one's eye. So try and go back to that text from Shakespeare if you're into English literature at all, and maybe read about it. Maybe you would like it. Also, for some of these phrases, they have very good Hindi translations also. So if you think you can give me a better Hindi translation for these phrases, please go ahead and put in your comments for this lesson too. I'm going to come back with a third lesson very soon. I hope you guys are enjoying it. See you all soon. Bye. So look at the sentence that the manager realized that it takes two to tango before firing me. So akele khud se nahi ho payega. You would need two people for it. That's how it is, you know. For instance, Bill and Melinda Gates, with the way they're running their foundation, have kind of realized that it takes two to tango and make a difference. Last straw. Now, last straw means a final problem in a series of problems. Let's say आपके साथ आज दिन में सब कुछ खराब हो रहा है. So, you got up late, then you got a firing from your boss, then you forgot your lunch at home, then in the evening you were given a very big project, just give it so you ended up staying late in office, then while you were coming back you missed your train. So, everything wrong is happening with you. So, finally when you come back home and you realize that there is no electricity, then you say, oh my god, like not having electricity right now is like the final straw for me. You know, it's the last straw for me. So, in this case, the sentence that I've used is that if I complete this last straw, I will be hired. So let's say there's a very, very important interview and you know that if you crack it, you will finally be hired. So you can also use that as a last straw there. The picture, in case you guys are wondering, so this is the final missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Finally, ये जब हो जाएगा तो हमारी puzzle complete हो जाएगी, sort of a thing. Now break the ice. Okay, now imagine you have gone to see some girl or guy, and you know, for shadi, it's an arranged marriage thing, and you're sitting, and both of you are awkward, and you're not being able to talk to each other. So finally, one of you decides to break the ice by asking the other, you know, what their hobbies are. So this is what breaking the ice means, that you initiate a social conversation or an interaction. So let's say when you're having your GDs, okay, I'm sure all of you would want to be the first one to talk, but let's just say if you end up being the first one to break the ice, means that you were the first one who spoke. So always break the ice in a group discussion. That should be your aim. A bird's eye view. Now, I think this is the most basic explanation of this picture. You can see that, you know, when a bird is flying at this great height, so whatever the view of the bird is, that is literally what a bird's eye view means. So a view from a very, very high place that allows you to see a very large area. So means agar aap 360-degree type ka view dekh pao, not necessarily, but agar aap dekh pao. So let's say Eiffel Tower gives you a bird's eye view of Paris. So it's a beautiful view, and if you can see it, you know, you'll be like, oh wow, when I go on this height, I can see from such a great height how the city looks. It's giving me a bird's eye view. A litmus test. Now, I'm sure in school we've all done that litmus paper test where if it's acidic, it becomes red, and if it's basic, it becomes blue. So it's basically a method that helps to know if something is correct. So, you know, basically we use a litmus test. Let's say I am the HR manager of some company, okay, and they say that, Reema, there are 10 candidates and we want you to evaluate them and see how good or bad they are. So I put them through a series of tests, and then finally I'm like, okay, so there is going to be a one-on-one interaction, and this is going to be like a litmus test for you. So if you end up doing well in this, means that, you know, you are able to come out of it well. So the final thing जिसकी वजह से मुझे पता चल पाए कि वो अच्छे हैं या नहीं. Look at the example here. Taking up the job served as a litmus test for me to know how good I was at applying my knowledge. So agar wo something that is putting us to task or something that is enabling us to know how good or bad we are, that becomes a litmus test. Now, the drop of a hat. Okay, if any of you is wearing a hat right now by watching this video, just lift that hat off your head and throw it down. How much time did it take you? Literally just 1 to 2 to 3 seconds. So the drop of a hat means very, very instantly. So the willingness to do something extremely instantly means the drop of a hat. So she expects me to make dinner at the drop of a hat, even if I'm busy with office work. Or let's say the new office intern would finish every work at the drop of a hat, or the new office intern would be willing to take new responsibilities at the drop of a hat. So you're very, very eager to know or to learn or to finish some task, you know, to do something basically, but ekdam instantly, jaldi mein, palak jhapakte hi ye kar do. You know how they say in Hindi. Afraid of one's own shadow. Now guys, if you all, this is very, very basic English, just translate this into Hindi. Apni khud ki parchhai se darna. And you know, I'm sure we've all seen tons and tons of B-grade Hindi movies where they say dialogues like, ab mujhe apni parchhai se bhi dar lagta hai, you know. So, but this actually means that, you know, you become easily frightened. So, somebody, look at the sentence here. My friend is afraid of his own shadow after watching a horror movie. So, you know, we all start thinking that hamare bed ke niche se kuch nikal ke aa jayega after we've seen a horror movie or anything else. But this necessarily does not mean that you use it after you've seen a horror film. In any case, you can also use it that, let's say, when we went to the outskirts of Maharashtra and we saw a deserted bungalow, all of us felt that we were afraid of even our own shadows over there. That sort of a thing. Okay, a house of cards. Now, a house of cards, if, you know, we all have played with those playing cards and we've built those houses from that, and ekdam se just one flick and the entire house would come down collapsing. So a house of cards translates into something that is a very poor plan. Just say, aapke प्लान की फाउंडेशन बहुत वीक है कि एक हल्के से किसी भी झटके से वो गिर जाएगा. So the sentence here that we've used is, my friends always come up with a house of cards. I really don't think you should use this in a sentence like this. Probably in terms of house of cards, you can maybe say that I decided to study for my UPSC mains at least 3 months in advance and prepared like a proper plan for it. But it proved to be like a house of cards and I was not able to follow it, you know. So when you say something like this, then the other person will realize कि oh अच्छा इसका plan इसने अच्छे से devise नहीं किया था, या it was a weak plan, या it was something that was not very, you know, well formulated. That's why he or she was not able to implement it properly. So house of cards means something that comes down falling, या अच्छे से execute नहीं हो पाता है कोई plan. Next is black and blue. So black and blue is literally like full of bruises, and you can see whenever you get hurt, जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं नील पड़ जाता है, तो वो अलग अलग कलर्स उसके चेंज होते रहते हैं. So we can say that while I was walking down the street, there was a goon who came and who beat me black and blue and took all my money away. So black and blue means that, you know, to hurt or injure somebody so badly that you use this with the word beaten. So like he beat him black and blue, or he was black and blue after he came back after playing, like how we've used it in this sentence here. So maybe it's basically about how you have hurt yourself so badly that you have all these bruises. Last one here is to be in the doldrums. So this is how you pronounce it, to be in the doldrums. As the picture signifies here, it means to be in low spirits. We had sort of touched upon another phrase, which was chip on one's shoulder, where we think that, you know, we are upset with the whole world and we think that the world is against us, sort of a thing. So to be in the doldrums means that you're in low spirits, where you think that, oh, you know, सब कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है मेरे साथ, मैं बहुत upset हूँ. So a very, very basic piece of advice, especially for you all if you're preparing for your exams. I think we can, you know, if you're listening to this lesson, then I can just say avoid being in the doldrums. It fails you. So don't be in those low spirits. Don't let your mind control you. Don't let apne, you know how in Hindi we say apne dimag ko apne upar havi mat hone do. Try to stay positive, try to work hard, and make sure you study well for your exams. So don't be in the doldrums. That is how you use this phrase. Now 30 new phrases you have already learned, and it has only been 30 minutes, guys. So I'm sure that this lesson is proving to be beneficial for you. Please leave your comments. Let me know if you like it or not. And for your homework, if you would like to call it that, for this lesson, it would be every single phrase that I have used in this particular lesson. Or you can choose certain phrases from my previous lessons also and try to find similar idioms to it, because you will find many idioms that would have the same meaning. Try to find some similar idioms. Do a bit of Google search, and I'm sure you'll be able to come up with some very interesting ones. I will look forward to reading your comments. Have a great day. Thank you.